The war between Earth and the Kethari Empire had ended in a way no one expected, through surrender, not victory. But it wasn't the humans who surrendered. It was them, the towering, silver-skinned alien race whose fleets had burned half our solar system. The peace treaty had one strange clause, a reward ceremony where select human soldiers would be granted an honor of companionship by the Kethari nobles. I was one of them. I didn't feel like a hero. My arms still ached from the plasma burns, and my sleep was haunted by the sound of screaming engines and dying men. But when the Kethari summoned me to their citadel on Laura Prime, I went, because orders were orders. The hall was breathtaking. Crystalline towers rose into mist, the air shimmering with a violet glow. Kethari women stood in elegant rows, each taller and more radiant than any human woman I'd ever seen. Their eyes gleamed like liquid mercury, their long hair flowing with iridescent strands that moved as if alive. Every human soldier around me was speechless. Then she entered, High Empress Sarathan, the ruler of the Kethari Empire. Her presence silenced the hall. She wore no crown, no jewels, only a silver robe that glowed faintly, as if woven from the light of stars. Her gaze swept over us, calm yet sharp, a mix of power and weariness. And when her eyes met mine, I forgot how to breathe. "You, human," she said in her musical, echoing voice. "You are Captain Aaron Vale of the 7th Expeditionary Unit." "Yes, Your Majesty," I said, standing straight, though my heart pounded like a war drum. She inclined her head. "You fought bravely in the Siege of Vega. You saved hundreds of lives, including my ambassadors. You have been granted a choice, an honor among your kind." Her hand gestured toward the assembled Kethari women. "You may choose any companion you wish. Any woman here will serve and honor you for life." I glanced at the faces before me, each one impossibly beautiful, each one looking at me with curiosity or mild disdain. To them, I was a war relic, a human, fragile and short-lived. I should have felt lucky, but something in me recoiled. I didn't want a prize. I wanted truth, connection, not ceremony. And then I looked back at her, the Empress herself. She had power in every motion, grace in every breath. But behind her calm, I sensed exhaustion, years of war, of loss, of duty. And suddenly I understood something no one else seemed to see. She was alone. The hall waited. The air was electric. I took a step forward. "I've made my choice," I said. A murmur swept through the audience. The Empress tilted her head slightly, curious. "Then speak it, human." "I want you," I said. The silence that followed was absolute. Even the air seemed to freeze. I heard a few gasps, the sound of armor shifting as guards tensed. A human soldier nearby whispered, "He's insane." But I didn't move. I held her gaze. The Empress blinked slowly, her silver eyes unreadable. "You want me?" "Yes, Your Majesty." "You said I could choose any woman." "I choose you." Her lips curved, not a smile, but something close. "Do you understand what you ask, human?" "I am no consort. I am ruler of worlds." "I understand," I said. "But rulers are people too. And I don't want a servant. I want someone real." Gasps rippled again. One of her advisors, a tall Kethari male with ridged temples, stepped forward. "Empress, this is an insult. He mocks the sacred rite." She raised a hand, silencing him. Then she descended the steps of her dais, her robe whispering like starlight across the marble. When she stood before me, I had to tilt my head up to meet her gaze. "You are bold, Captain Vale," she said quietly. "Boldness can be admirable, or fatal." "I've already faced death," I said. "This doesn't scare me." For the first time, she laughed. It was soft, unexpected, like a melody after a storm. "Very well," she said at last. "Come with me." They led me through the palace corridors, lined with alien art and glowing vines. Servants watched us pass, whispering. I followed her into a vast chamber that overlooked the twin moons of Laura Prime. The sky was a swirl of violet and gold. She turned to me. "You have caused quite a stir, Captain. No human has ever spoken to me that way." "Maybe they should," I said before I could stop myself. Her silver eyes narrowed slightly, but she seemed amused. "You think I need honesty?" "I think you deserve it," I said. Something flickered across her face. Surprise, maybe even pain. She walked to the window, looking out. "You humans are strange. You fight us, bleed against us, and yet you speak of understanding." "We're not so different," I said softly. "We both lost people. We both carry the cost of war." She turned slowly. And what do you hope to gain by choosing me? I hesitated. Peace. Maybe not for the galaxy, but for myself. For a long time, she said nothing. Then she approached, closer than before. The faint glow of her skin bathed me in silver light. I could feel the hum of energy radiating from her. Peace is not something the universe gives, she murmured. It is something we steal. Her hand brushed mine, cold and warm all at once, like touching liquid metal. My breath caught. She studied me as though searching for weakness, for deceit. But she found none. Then, unexpectedly, she whispered, "Very well, human. For one night, I will entertain your impossible choice." That night, the Empress and I spoke for hours, not of politics or war, but of memories. She told me about her childhood on a frozen moon, where Kethari children learned to control energy currents before they could walk. She told me about her mother slain by rebels, and how she had ascended the throne at barely 100 years old. I told her about Earth's oceans, about sunsets over the Atlantic, about the first time I saw stars through a shuttle viewport. She listened in silence, eyes glowing softly. When I mentioned my fallen comrades, her expression changed. "You grieve them still." "Every day," I admitted. "Their ghosts don't fade." She looked down. Nor do mine. The room fell quiet again. The only sound was the distant hum of alien machinery. Then she said, "You are different, Captain. Your heart does not seek conquest, and yours doesn't seek cruelty," I said. "Even if your empire does." That made her smile, truly smile, for the first time. "You see much for one so fragile. Maybe because fragility teaches you to notice what's beautiful before it's gone." Her hand lingered near mine again. This time, she didn't pull away. The next morning, I expected guards, punishment, maybe exile. Instead, the Empress stood beside me on the palace balcony facing the dawn. "The council demanded I void your reward," she said softly. "They say I humiliated our traditions." "And what do you say?" I asked. She turned toward me, her eyes bright with something fierce. "I say that for the first time in centuries, someone spoke to me as if I were not a goddess, but a woman. And I will not punish that," I blinked. "So, what happens now?" She took a breath. "If I allow this bond, it will break protocol. My empire will question my rule." "I didn't mean to cause trouble," I said. "I just meant what I said." "I know." Her gaze softened. "That is what makes it dangerous." A pause. Then, quietly, "Would you still choose me, knowing what it may cost?" I met her eyes. "Every time." She closed her eyes as if hearing something sacred. When she opened them again, there was a glimmer of something I hadn't seen before. Hope. "Then so be it," she whispered. "From this day forward, let it be known. The human Captain Vale stands as my chosen companion." The announcement sent shockwaves through the Kethari courts. Some called it scandal. Others called it destiny. But to me, it was neither. It was real. Months passed. We learned from each other, argued, laughed, even fought side by side during political crises. The galaxy whispered of the Empress who chose a human, not as pet, but as equal. And slowly something miraculous happened. Peace began to hold. Maybe love, I thought, was its own kind of diplomacy. One evening, as we stood beneath the alien stars, she said, "You once told me you wanted peace for yourself. Have you found it?" I looked at her, at the woman who had once been untouchable, who now leaned against me with quiet trust. "I think I have," I said. "And maybe the galaxy will too," she smiled faintly. "Do not tempt fate, human." "Fate's already tempted," I said. Taking her hand, she laughed softly, then leaned closer, her voice barely a whisper. "You can choose any woman you want." "Human," she said again, echoing that first moment between us, and I smiled. "I still want you." Her eyes glowed like twin stars. "Then let the universe bear witness." And as the twin moons rose over the alien sky, the Empress of the Kethari and the human soldier stood together, proof that sometimes the boldest choice isn't conquest, but love